Good evening, students. In the continuation of Computer Fundamental Programming using C language through Curious Infotech Solutions, हम लोगों ने 7 day and 7 hour डेली 1 hour का कमिटमेंट लिया है और उसमें हमने Day-6 में हम समझना चाह रहे हैं बिल्ट इन फंक्शन और यूजर डिफाइंड फंक्शन। तो बिल्ट इन फंक्शन में हम देखेंगे सी टाइप डॉट एच हेडर फाइल, मैथ डॉट एच हेडर फाइल, string dot h header file, and then we will understand how we can make our own function that is known as a user defined function. आपको जब भी कभी कोई प्रॉब्लम आए, you can give the WhatsApp to the official number of Curious Infotech Solution, or you can give the email in the info@curiousinfotechsolution.com. So let's start today's theory and concept of fundamental of computer programming. Now in the next slide, we will understand what mean by the function and how we can classify it into function into two domain. So function is nothing but it is a set of instruction specified for the given task. C function can be classified into two domain. First is built-in function and second is user-defined function. So very first we will understand built-in function. So built-in function are nothing but it is known as a library function, standard library function, predefined function, and we can say कि compiler के साथ में ही this function we are getting to plug and play concept. We do not want to write any function. We can directly understand the task given by this function. We can directly use without wasting time. So we can say that these are the functions that are provided by C and we need not write them ourselves. So this is the characteristics behind this built-in function. We can directly use this function in our code. These functions are placed in the header file of C. Whenever we want to use, we can directly use this function through the word include. We have a preprocessor keyword. The processor is known as a include. So we can use the word include, and this include are very much facilitate to use our header file. Okay. Now we will see in the next slide the built-in function types. In C standard and built-in function, there are many header files in which we will understand some popular and used to header files. and these files are very first stdio.h, then math.h, ctype.h, and one more we will understand very useful header file that is known as a string.h. Now what they actually contain? So standard input output header file contain function prototype for the C standard input and standard output function. So this is the way to know more about the stdio.h. In previous program already we used this function. Now this function basically this function contain scanf and printf. So these two functions you can find in the standard input output. Clear? Now math.h. Math.h contain the function prototype for math library function. So for example, we have like a f max function to find two number in which you can easily find the max. F mean, you want to find the minimum of that, like a your round to rounding the your given number. So this is the sum function. We will see later on most used function of the math.h. Now the ctype.h. ctype.h contain the function prototype for function that test character. So here the word is the character. To test the character, you can easily get a is a digit, is a punctuation, or you want to convert cases like a to upper and to lower. So these functions are very useful for our processing of given task. Every concept, it is not possible to make your own. We have to use some ready-made function. That's why you can make very good program in minimum time. So in C type, you may say to lower function and to upper function. Like that, you will get your all inbuilt function of ctype.h. Now lastly, we will see the string.h. Now this function basically give opportunity to processing string in our program. So here we have some example of string.h like strupr, string upper. As this two upper is there in which only one character you can convert to lower to upper, but here the all words, all character, all words, whatever in the string you can directly convert into uppercase, like a lowercase, like a length of string. So these are the very useful function to know to get a processing the our string in a program. तो अब हम एक एक करके सारी चीजों को आने वाली स्लाइड्स में समझेंगे. तो आर यू रेडी? So many are saying yes in the chat box. Okay. Now see the math function. So math function basically gives the opportunity to manipulate the all mathematical task on number. It is a one kind of mathematical task. So by using this mathematical task on number, we can perform very good program. Now for example, let I have to find max number in given two number. Here two number are there. You can also take more than two number. Okay. So here I am using f max. So this will be the f for floating. So here we will use this function by this include. So very first we will include our what? Uh, this stdio.h. We also have to use header file math. So I should write math. So math.h. This is the basically your required header file to execute your mathematical function. Okay. So this is the way how we can get a such kind of your mathematical task. Now let how we can use here function prototype required two minimum argument a and b, and whatever is max we will print through this %f. So in this 5 and 4 you should get output as a 5. Clear? So this is the program for getting a max function to find the highest value of x and y. Now we will find lowest value of x and y. So instead of this we will use what? We will use this f mean. So instead of we will use f mean, we can directly get minimum, that is the lowest value between these two number. So this is the way how we can make this two program. Now we will see the more effective task in our program. So for example, we will see the next slide. So in the next slide, you will see some very useful header files math.h with the sqrt square root, with the round, with the log. So these three are very useful and popular in our programming language. So as this is 64, so 64 square root we will get what? 8, and by default this is the your decimal point. So this will be your 6 decimal by default. You will get the round up 2.6 you will get what? You will get 3 because you want to round. So this is your rounding the floating values. Many times we want the rounding, then logarithmic, then log we will require log 2. So this is the value of this log 2, and here we are using what? Header file math.h. So this is the way how we can make our simple program. ठीक है, आ रहा है सबको समझ में? देखिए जब भी नहीं आए, कोई भी डाउट हो आप जरूर पूछ लें, बाद में भी पूछ सकते हैं, पर क्लासरूम में पूछने से आपका डाउट बहुत देर तक रिटेन नहीं रहना चाहिए. डाउट जितनी जल्दी हो क्लियर होना जरूरी होता है. ओके, नाउ कम टू दी अनदर important logarithm, this inbuilt function of math.h. So these are the inbuilt function available in that. Anytime you can use this all. First is absolute value, then a cos, a sin, a tan, this all A, basically arc, basically this is trigonometrical function, then you can find the cube root. Cube root is also possible. Now seal means you want to round it up to nearest value. Okay, one rounded is there, one is seal, and one more floor is there. Now cos is a trigonometric, cos hyperbolic, then exponential. It will exponent the your value. Then f absolute. For the floating number, you want to absolute number. So these are the some useful inbuilt function of math.h. Now we will see the some more function available in that. So these are the some more useful function of this math.h. So once you understand any language in depth, you will get a more and more if this effective understanding in the advanced programming logic. That's why we are giving this type of training from the Curious Infotech solution. Okay, so don't worry. This will be, of course, very fundamental, but fundamental will give the more strong base. Okay, so now we will see the another header file in the next slide. So let I have ctype.h. So in ctype.h you can easily process on the printed character. So these are the printed character. These are the print. You can get a impression on the screen, but here non-printing character also available in the our ASCII table. So here enter, shift, control, escape, these are the basically your non-printing character. So let what are in the ctype.h. So in ctype.h we have the important function are this. First is alphanumeric. Alphanumeric means small a2, small z, capital A2, capital Z, and 0 to 9. Is alpha, only alphabets you can find, is it there. This is I for the checking this input, whether in input this type of character are there or not. Is blank, this blank space you can also find this is blank. Is control like a slash n slash b slash t slash r. Is digit, that is 0 to 9. Is lower, the input character is lower or not. Is printable character, your input character is printable or not. Is punctuation, the character is in punctuation or not. Is space, the space is the white space like a tab. Tab you can find out by this is space. Is upper, क्या आपका input character upper alphabet है कि नहीं है. Is hexadecimal, तो hexadecimal को भी you can find out by this ctype.h. Now to lower, if any input is there, input character is there, and you want to uppercase, तो use the to lower. ठीक है ना, convert the uppercase letter to the lowercase, or if input is lowercase then you will get the same lowercase. Then to upper, to convert lowercase to uppercase. So these are the some function. Now we will see the some example in the next slide. So in the next slide you will get it one example. Let I want to find is alphanumeric. तो कैसे फाइंड आउट करेंगे, देखिए. चेक इज इट अल्फा न्यूमरिक और नॉट. अल्फा न्यूमरिक मीन्स you have A to Z small and 0 to 9. So here we will use to check whether input is belong to this or not. So if your input, the one character CH is belong to this, means you have to get a output inter character is alphanumeric, or you will get inter character is not alphanumeric. So likewise you can make very effective program through the ctype.h. Okay. Now we will see the string. One more program for the to lower. So to lower means we have one input and that we want to convert this capital A to A and small a to small a. So how to convert? We have a very simple inbuilt function, that is the to lower function. So by this to lower function, we can easily input like a capital A to A or A to A. Now someone will say what happen whenever we will input what? Whenever we will input, say we will input the 9. So at that time you will get a output as a 9. Okay. So it will not convert because it is not a alphanumeric. So whenever input is alphabet, then it is possible to process. Otherwise you will get what? You will get same. Okay, now you will get same output. Okay. So this is the way how we can understand our program. Okay. Now, in the next slide, we will understand the string.h. So this is very beautiful header file. By this header file, you can find the string copy, string concatenation, string length, string compare, string character, then string to substring. So like that, we have a very beautiful inbuilt function. Of course, we should know the logic behind this function. Sometime in some placement, they will ask to explain if you do not have a strcpy, then how we can make a such concept. So this is the basically logic behind this all function. But very first you understand this all, then we can think the next level of your programming, in which we will also explain what are the logic behind this strcpy, strcat. We have a logic because by this programming task you can make this all concept. Okay. Now in the next slide we will see the very important program of the string. Now let I have string.h. Now this is the your string.h. Okay. We should use string.h. Now this in the string.h you will get, this is the your string.h, in which let you have a two string in the array that is known as a hello and the word, and third string is a empty string. Okay. Now one variable for find the length. Okay, so here we are understanding three important inbuilt function. One is string copy, string concatenation, string length. So very first, this is the way how to understand the string copy. So we will use this str3, we want to copy from str1 to str3. Now concatenation, we want to concatenate in the string 1 to string 2. So we can concatenate and we will get hello word. Now we want to calculate the length of given string like a hello. We should get length as a 5. So this is the way how we can find the beautiful program if using this your string. Okay. Now we will understand some user defined function. Now the time to make your own user defined function. So this is the special slides for only your student. So here I will explain the 4 example. Now this example will actually communicate if there is no argument to pass and no return value, then how we'll make a function. If we want to pass some argument but no return value, this is the second category. Now third category, you have no argument pass but a return value. And lastly, it is by default function with argument as well as there is a return value. So these are the 4 category. We can easily make in the user defined function. So we will see one by one. Now, the first category in which no argument and no return value. This is the first, no return argument and no return value. So let I have this function. This is the first function and this is the your second function. So in the first function, we are calling function 2. So this is calling statement and this is the called statement. Okay, this is the called function. You are calling from this F2 to this one. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are actually making, this is your calling, and this is your calling. Okay, now how we are doing this all, now see. Very first we will pass the control pass होगा सबसे पहले, but there is a no argument. No argument means, now see, in this type of parenthesis there is a no argument, no parameter is there, so no argument is there. Now whatever written here you have to execute and again come back. So first pass the control and then no return value. The no return value, why? Because here void you are using. This void represent no return value. Okay. Now this function, how they are working, this is the way. Let you have this function in which your main function is there. Okay. This is your main function is there. So in the main function you have, this is the your main function. Okay, in the main function step 1, so you have written this name of the sub function. So very first we will use the step 1 and we will reach to where, in the second function. So here there is a second function name and whatever written here you will execute by default and then come back to second step. Then next to this your calling function, because it is not returning a value. If the returning value is there, then we will see this, the assignment of this function to this some variable. Okay, now we will see the one program, that is the addition of subprogram. So here we have main function, this is the your main function and this is your sub function. Okay, now in the main function you have written a one simple function add. Now this function, no argument and no return value. Now as soon as this will call, you will reach to this add function. You will reach to this add function, and here we have written already to three variable. One is A, second is B, third is C. So A assigned 10, B assigned 20, and the C is there. Now we should get a addition of this, and we also have a printing in this function. So everything, input, calculation and output, this all three are in the this add function. So as soon as this printing will there, we will jump to our return. So after this returning, we will stop this program. Okay, so this is the way how we can make our simple program. Now we will see the example 2, that is the category 2, in which you have a some return and you have some argument, but you do not want to return a value. Okay, so this is the category 2, in which we have a return argument is there. So where is the argument? This is the argument. Now see, where is the argument? This is the argument. So this argument you are sending to our function. This is the your function in which you are using. So this value is known as a your actual value, and this known as a your formal value. So formal value means this 10 is using the name X and this 20 is known as a Y. So here we are sending argument, that is the call by value concept. There is also another method known as a call by reference. So we are using here the call by value, means there is a no mirror image of this one. So we will understand how this function, this passing function will work. So as soon as this function, your main function, return with the function 2. So whenever this will execute, we will directly pass the control and we will also pass the argument. Now this argument will immediately map to return parameter in the called function. So as soon as this 10 become x, 20 become y, you will be execute whatever written in this function 2. And after this there is a no return, means void is there, so that we can directly return to calling function. This is the control very first and then no return value. Okay, now we will see the practical example with the same add program. In this add program we have a main function. In the main function we should call this a and b, because this number, this value we have to pass as a argument. Now argument add with the a and b, and as soon as this a and a here, both name are same, but don't confuse, this is the copy. You are copying the a to this a, this is your local, and this a and b, this is a local concept, and this is also a local. Okay, both are local. Here there is no global variable. So of course what we are doing, we are making a one int c, and c is equal to a plus b. As we do not want to return, so we will complete our addition task here. So as soon as this will be there, this will be returned. Because no return value is there, we will directly jump to our return 0 and we will end this program. Okay, understood or not? And I'm not going very fast, but you have to understand in this way only. Okay, this is the way to understand the concept. Now we will see the example 3. So in example 3 we have no argument, but there is a return value. No argument, but there is a return value. So how we can understand? Very simple concept. Now this is the your main function. In main function your calling statement, this is the your calling statement. In this calling statement no argument. Now see, there is a nothing in this bracket, means no argument. Now we have a return value, so this showing is a return value. Now here we can see there is a no passing argument, this is should be empty, but there is a return value. There should be some value data type here, so that this will be written in this type. So red we have a one return z. So let, for example, we are returning this value of that z, and that z will be the actually accommodate in this result. And after executing whatever written here, then we will stop here. So this is the way how we are performing the class example 3. So we will see the same concept in our add function. So this is our main function and this one is our sub function. Okay, na? So in the main function we have this instruction c is equal to add. We do not want to passing the argument, so we will take input in the add function. So in add function a, b, 10 and 20 is there. Now we will calculate c is equal to a plus b, and this should be written. This should be written means we should be use the int. Similarly here we are using int, here we are using this int, the same concept. Now as this will be written, then c is equal to whatever the value will assign to this c, and that c will be the get output by this function. So this is the way how we are performing the example 3. Now the last example, that is the your passing argument is there and return value is also there. Okay, this is the last case. In this case we are basically making argument as a sending and value also there. Okay, now see here the by this red arrow we can easily understand that something is going on in this way. Now here we have 10, 20. This 10, 20 means you want to send argument. So there is some argument passing. Now here should be int x and int y. There should be taking some variable, so that this all coming variable will map with this. So here 10 become x and 20 become y. So whatever we want to do, we can do it and then go to return the result, whatever we want to return. Now here returning, there will be the data type int. Now by this return, we will get a assignment to this result. Now after that, we will do something here, and after that okay, so then we will start our this function, that will be the end of program. So this is the way how we are making this program. Now in this program we have a main function. This is the main function. This one is the your sub function. Okay. In the main function there is a input, because we want to send this input. So sending this input, then there will be the here accepting these values a and b. Now we want to calculate c is equal to a plus b, and then after calculating we want to return here. Then after return we have a indication int. So this returning this concept, and we will send here as a get a, the c is equal to this one. We will accept this return value and we will print, and after print there will be the end of this main program. So this is the way how we are making this all example 4. Now we will see very important two program known as a function that return multiple value. This is very important. I will say this is the very important. Why? Because here we have the concept of call by value and the call by reference concept. Now see, this is the multiple concept, multiple value return, and we are in the previous program only able to return one value. एक ही value return कर सकते थे, लेकिन यहाँ पे you are actually returning the multiple value. How it is possible? Now see, in this program we can easily say this is the your input a and b, 20 and 11. This pq basically you were getting return value. Of course p and q we defined in the main function. In main function is there, it is here local concept is there. Now see how this is working. Now we will send this calculate, we will send with this type of the concept in which the address is there. Now this address will be the occupy in this add and subtract. Okay. Now here we have null is there, nothing is there, but in the a and b we are sending the value x and y. So this x become 20 and y become 11. So here we will put x and y and x and y. So we will get add of this x and y, that is the 10 and 20 and 11, that is 31, and here we will get the minus 20 minus 11, so you should get a 9. Okay, so you should get a 9. Now what we will do, so here we will do the, यहाँ पर गलत लिखा है, that I have to check, and a 20 minus 11, either we will do this is a 10, इसको 10 कर देते हैं. Okay, so as this is a 10 is there, so you should get a addition 20 plus 10 30, and here you will get 20 minus 10 10. Okay, now this is correct. Now come to the your execution. So as soon as there is a no return, now see here you are not able to get a return indication. This is a void, and due to void we cannot return here the return value, but this is a call by reference. These two are called by reference, so this will be automatically get a update this p and q, so that we can easily find out the updation in this printf. तो printf में देखिए दिख रहा है this become as a 30 and this become as a 10. So this is the way we can easily understand how we can return the multiple value. ठीक है, आ रहा है ना समझ में? बहुत कठिन तो नहीं है, but you have to understand in this way only. ठीक है. Now come to the your next is what? Next is the your recursion. So recursion is also a one big technique in the our C language. So here I will say a function that calls itself. Function that calls itself is known as a recursive function. So it is a recursive function, and this technique is known as a recursion. Clear? This technique is known as a recursion. How we can show this one? Now see, this is the your main program. In the main program, you are calling the sub program by the recurse. So this is your recurse program we are calling. So we have a sub program in which recurse is there. So as soon as this is called, this sub function will execute. But in this function, again you have written this recurse. It means what? You are calling yourself. You are calling itself, and this is calling itself, means this is a recursive calling. This is known as a recursive calling, and this complete technique is known as a recursion. This complete technique is known as a recursion. Okay, so this is the way this is the main function is there, and we can write this one is there. Okay, this is the concept how we are doing this one. Okay, now the recursive may be written or may not be written. That will be depend upon the your requirement. Now we will see the one example. Okay, तो example से सब चीज clear करना चाहिए. Now let we have a one example, and in this example we want to find the sum of the natural number. Now here the very good technique is there, because let you are using this formula n plus sum n minus 1. This is the natural formula for calculating the natural number. So here we have logic. What logic? Here we are using this prototype subfunction. So this is the prototype because we want to define after this main. So as we want to define after this main, we will use this as a prototype. Now we have a main function. So in this main function, you are making a two variable. One is number, one second is result. Now see, we want to return. So we want to return means with this recursive function, every time will return this value. Okay. Now here we have a accepting of this return value, the result. The result is equal to sum of this calling recursive function. So as soon as you are calling this sum, you will reach here, the n become your number, and this will be execute number of time calling till your n not equal to 0. So this will be not equal to 0 means you should be written, and after getting this value to this result, after that you will getting this result, means we have to make this output print and result is there. Okay, wait 1 minute because this net protection is updating. So here we have a such type of concept. Now we will see the very two important slide, how we can use this function in the array and in the structure. Okay, so we will use the another slide. The two slide is there. One is the your array concept, and second is the your structure concept. Last two slide. Okay, now pass individual array element. How we can pass individual array element? Now let I have a sub function and main function. So this is my main function and this is my sub function. So in the main function you have written your one array with initialization 4 value 2, 8, 4, 12. Now we want to pass second and third element to display. So let we have second 1 and the third, that is the 2 indexing. So we are calling this display function. The display function is written here. Now the first is the age 1 and second is the age 2. Okay. Likewise we want to only print here age 1 and age 2, nothing more. So this is the way how we are passing the your element in the array element. So this is the way we can understand how we can use this function in the array. Now the slide is your what structure. So how we can use the function in the structure. So let I have a here structure of one student. तो student का एक structure हमने बनाया है. Now this is the your struct student with the two member. One is the name of this student and age of this student. Now function prototype. This is the function prototype because we want to define this sub function after this main. So we should use this function prototype. How we can display function prototype? Void. So we can easily say that this function will not return. This function will accept the record like a structure. So we will use this s, and s will be the variable of this new student. Okay. Now this is the main function. In this main function, what we are doing? We are making a one student detail, that is the s1. The s1 is the one student detail. Very first we will enter this name, and we will get this type of the important method ki how we can make this concept. So by this type of combination we can make the read string from the user until enter key, है ना, until the enter key will be discarded. Enter key नहीं रहेगा इसमें, this will be discarded. The discarded के लिए we have a such type of your symbol. Now here we will use this variable s1 dot name is there. Now similarly we will also read. We will read what? We will read the our. We will read what? We will read again the your age. So this is the your reading age. Now we are displaying this all input data to in the structure. So we have to pass structure in as a argument. ठीक है, नहीं pass करेंगे. Now we have a sub function here. In this sub function we are receiving this s1 to this s. So s is the your receiving variable is there. Now here we have simple printf statement. Whatever in this s we will display here. So likewise you can make very useful program through the function. Clear? किसी को भी किसी में अगर डाउट आ रहा है तो they can ask anytime. ठीक है? Thank you to all students. Now tomorrow we will read the last day, that is the day 7. Thank you.